kind of live by saying, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
So welcome in, everybody, to the Jets Group Chat podcast. Long layoff. I think the last episode we brought you was right after the Aaron Rodgers signing. That was obviously a historic day, but training camp's underway. We're 2 days out from the Hall of Fame game. Jets are obviously heading out to Canton to take on the Cleveland Browns. It's going to
we back.
Pretty much going to be a dress rehearsal there for a lot of the backups. But, of course, I'm your host, Matt Cardos. Appreciate you all hopping in. Here with who we got tonight? Handsome Jer, joined by my guy Spiga. We've got Dennis live from his car because he can't find a phone charger or a laptop. And
no, not a phone charger, phone charger brick. Like, who doesn't have a brick for their phone charger?
It's every person in America has an iPhone. You could knock on the neighbor's door and ask for a phone charger. You could probably find a phone charger in your couch cushion or something. They're everywhere. You can't tell me that there's not a phone charger in your house.
How much battery you got, Dennis?
I got 30 now.
Oh, you should be good.
You're charging it in the car, though, right?
I was at like 10 when we were about to start. I was like,
All right. Well, you got plenty of juice to get through the episode. And then, of course, we got my guy PJ live from Florida down there.
Number 8, baby.
PJ, this is not the first show that PJ is hopping on today. My guy was on earlier with Bart and Han live on ESPN Radio, and got to get on there and chop it up with Bart and Han a little bit. What was that like, PJ? Before we kind of hop into it, what was that like?
Yeah, I was trying to get Bart Scott on the podcast.
Rep your hood, son. Rep your hood.
Right. Just shoot my shot. First I tried to get Joe Flacco, and now I tried to get Bart Scott. I'm striking out like Anthony Rizzo over here.
Hey.
That's all good, man.
Shoot my shot.
PJ does shoot the shots. I don't know if you guys know, but PJ went to like a family wedding a few months ago, and I don't remember all the particulars, and we don't have to get into it, but somebody that PJ are they related to you directly, or
my younger brother got married to my younger brother's wife.
Your younger brother's wife.
Yeah, her younger
used
sister.
To date Joe Flacco.
Her younger sister got married to Pete Flacco, who is related to Joe Flacco. Gotcha. So me and Joe Flacco are family now.
Yeah, so we're all
cousins.
We're all sitting home one night, and we get a picture sent to the group chat. It's fucking PJ taking a picture with Joe Flacco. Yeah, and he shot his shot to try to get him on the pod. We're don't know that it's going to go all that.
He's like, maybe if you convince me.
And then we all started saying some pretty vulgar things while we were drunk, and I don't think Mr. Flacco enjoyed it, and. There we are. But yeah, we're actually working on getting a few people hopefully lined up to hop on the pod of note, to kind of bring you guys some insight and some knowledge. Could have some reporters, trying to get some former players on. So we'll see what happens. But obviously we've had a long layoff, kind of recalibrated. Summer's coming to an end, and we're going to be back much more frequently and daily. After the long layoff, obviously people go on vacation, summer vacations. People's lives take them in different places. Spiga's got his hands full with 2 kids. So shit happens.
Go to 12 weddings.
Yeah, 12 weddings. You play softball every night of the week. And on Sunday, so your free time is limited. Shit happens, man. So what can you do? But we're back. We're rocking and rolling. And I think what the Jets are hoping is going to be rocking and rolling is Dalvin Cook in their backfield.
Hey.
Of course, the former the Pro Bowler, the Vikings former running back is obviously cut. He's a free agent. Was in the building at Florham Park on Sunday for what felt like the entire day. Like I woke up and he was in the building already. Like first thing I did, I knew it was Dalvin Cook day. I think I rolled out of bed at like 8:30. First thing I did was like go to Twitter to see if anybody had anything and it was like, oh, he's in the building already. I'm like,
my goodness.
Damn.
Like I thought he signed.
Like, damn, homeboy didn't waste any time getting there.
I looked over at Nick because we were at softball. I'm like, is Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets? And he's like, no. I'm like, he's at practice. Like, I think
he was at practice.
Signed.
He was like in the huddle. Like he was doing everything.
They were chanting his name.
Yeah, man. So I had a feeling it was going to go down, especially the way that the lead up was. Of course, I feel a little bit different about it now, but like Friday, he goes on Good Morning Football the odds are very high that I'm gonna end up a Jet.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's on he was on with Rich Eisen, and he was on some other podcasts over the weekend and just had nothing but good stuff to say about the Jets. And so when that visit happens, you see him come out, the fans are yelling Dalvin Cook, and his agents and his agency are all tweeting pictures of him at the facility. And so you're like 9-10 in the morning, like, man, this is trending like in the right direction. Of course, he's out there for practice, and you think once practice wraps up that like this thing is probably going to get done. And there was really no concrete update after that. Like I stayed up till like 11 o'clock, like refreshing Twitter every 30 seconds, wondering what was going on with this visit with Dalvin Cook. And just like no update came, other than I think the only one that came through was somewhere around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Rich Samini was like, Dalvin Cook's still in the building. His visit is still going on. It hasn't concluded. And then there was nothing other than Dalvin Cook's like trainer getting in a Twitter fight with some Jet fans saying that like, oh, Dalvin Cook is gone and he didn't sign a contract.
But he literally said on Good Morning Football, he's going to leave, confirm his family, and then make a decision.
We don't want to hear that, man. We only hear what we want to hear. Speaking, don't you know that by now? We're fans.
Bring your family
3 days
with you
earlier
on
he
the
says
trip.
it.
All we heard in that Good Morning Football interview was that the odds are high that I'm going to end up a Jet. We didn't listen to the part where he said, I'm going to go home and talk to my family about what I heard.
Think of it this way. Has he taken another visit yet? Did he go to Miami? Did he go to New England? No.
They want to visit.
Not
him.
yet.
Yeah, it sounds like the Patriots want him to come visit. I don't know that he's with it. I think he would have booked it by now, especially, I mean, I don't know that he has to go to Miami to go on a visit because he's from the area, like maybe to go see the facility, but he had said, or his agent had said earlier in the preseason, or excuse me, in the offseason, he was on Boy Green's podcast a few weeks ago, and he said like Dalvin doesn't necessarily need a visit to sign a deal. Like if he feels like a visit's necessary for him to make a decision, he'd take them. But like a visit's not a necessity for him to make a deal. So I don't know that he needs to go to Miami. Maybe he would. I don't know. But it felt like there was a lot of momentum towards a Jet deal. And even 3 days or 4 days out almost now, it still feels like there's a lot of momentum towards Cook coming to the Jets, because the way I look at it, and I'm going to go around the room and I want to know how you guys feel about it and if that's the case. But I kind of feel like now that Cook went on that media tour before the visit saying what he said, that the odds were high, because he might ideally want to go to Miami. Like I think Miami might be his preferred destination, but I don't think he likes the offer that Miami has on the table. And so if you go out there and say the odds are high, you're going to go to the Jets, and then Miami's GM sees him walk out onto the practice field, the fans see him, he's standing there talking to Breece Hall and he's talking to Woody Johnson. Not only does it puts pressure on the Jets to get a deal done, because now the fan pressure is there. The fans have seen him. The fans saw him at practice. And Dalvin also said all those things. The odds are high. So it makes it seem like if the Jets don't get a deal done, it's on the Jets. And on the flip side, it then puts pressure on the Dolphins, because it makes it seem like I'm close to doing this. If you want me, you're going to have to up your offer.
Come get me. Yep.
And so when he walks out the door with no offer on Sunday, you're thinking, all right, he didn't walk out with an offer. Maybe he wants to just weigh his options, or maybe he's going to wait and see what Miami does, And here we are 3 days later. It doesn't seem like Miami's budged off what their initial offer was, because to me, I think they would have made the move by now. And so I think it comes down to the balls in Dalvin Cook's court. I think he probably has an offer or an idea from the Jets, and he probably has a number and an idea of what the Dolphins are willing to go to. And he's got to shit or get off the pot. Which one does he want to go to? Does he want to go to Miami, or does he want to come here? It sounds like the Jets aren't. The thing is, the Jets aren't desperate for him. Like he's a luxury almost for them. And so they're not pressuring him to make a decision, because he can make a decision 3 days before the season starts. It's not really going to affect them. Where Miami, they say that they're happy with their running back room, but I don't necessarily love the depth that they have there. It's a cluster of like average running backs. So Cook would obviously go in and be the running back one, where with the Jets, he's going to be a running back 1A, 2-ish when Breece Hall's up and running. But I guess I'll start with you, Dennis. Do you think that Cook is kind of using the Jets as leverage at this point, or do you think he actually has a legitimate shot to land here and that he actually wants to be here?
I think that he actually wants to be here. Excuse me. I don't think he's using it as a leverage, but I could still see him going there. But everything that he said and him coming to practice and all that, I just think he wants to be here, especially with having Aaron Rodgers, someone he's played against for the last, 8 years, something like that. He wants to be on that side of the ball with him, in my opinion.
Yeah, and of course they matched up for years in the same division, so know each other well. There's that mutual respect factor. What about you, PJ? You think he's just playing the Jets, or you think this is like legit and it might end up the way we want it?
I think he's absolutely using the Jets as leverage. I think that he got a contract, he got a number from the Jets, and he probably is just shopping that around and flaunting it to Miami. He's like, Miami, like, this is what the Jets offer me, and seeing what Miami offered him, seeing if he could up that up or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think that that's what I would do. That's what anybody would do, I think.
Yeah.
You always got to weigh out your options, so, and you got to try and get the most most money possible, especially with everything that's going on with the running backs nowadays.
That's fair too. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, he's trying to get the best. He's trying to get the most money. Whether it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, he's trying to get the most out of the situation. So he's definitely using the Jets as leverage, 100%.
Yeah. How about you, Speaker? What's your pulse on this situation? Yeah.
See, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see him using us as leverage. I feel like that is the narrative that's been, used against us for the longest time possible, for as long as we can remember. But I feel like it's just different. I feel like it's the Rodgers effect. I feel like we become a destination. So we truly are a place where people think and believe they could win. Obviously he's familiar with Rodgers, playing the same division for how long. I think he knows the game, or he knows he could win. And I think people are starting to buy into that Rodgers effect, and New York has become a destination. And I think that he can win here. He's one of those players. Was he 27, 28? Get a little older.
27, yeah.
Especially in running back terms. You're doing what they all do. They all want to go get a ring. And I think New York is a place that he can do it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he wants to come to New York, but he's also using them as leverage.
I think he can be using for leverage like anybody would, just to get more money out of it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I just like, it's almost like you don't see enough steam from another team. Like, he's not going to New England. New England's not a contender. They suck.
Right.
Miami maybe, but again, like you said, like
they can have Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, but like, he's already won there. But again, now it's all that added pressure back onto him. Here, can you imagine if he comes to the Jets? You could ease Breece Hall into recovery, and then you get a healthy 100% RB1 second half of the season to just pound the rock against anybody in the winter.
Yeah.
Like, that's a formula for success on that side. That would be the pitch from the Jets. You come in, and now you can be part of something. You could, elongate your career. You don't have to be RB1. You could split carries and come win. You got now arguably the greatest quarterback out there.
I think he's convinced, but he doesn't need to sign right away. That's the thing.
Yeah. And to PJ's point, that's exactly right. Like, he can take as much time as he wants. Nobody can make him sign now.
Right.
He could be waiting to preseason game number 3 when 2 people get hurt, and now he's RB1 for the Chiefs.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Like Zach
Or
Moss
it could be for Hard Knocks. They might just be rolling it out for Hard Knocks.
Could be too.
People
know.
People
make
speculated
the plot a little better.
Like Hard Knocks, Hard Knocks wouldn't follow him not just in the facility but through New York if he wasn't like going to sign. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't put that much effort into just like roaming around New York City with him if he's not going, if he's not coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with everything all of you guys have said. I think both things can be true. Like, I think he's playing the Jets as leverage, because I do think in my heart of hearts, Miami is his number one destination. He'd prefer to go to Miami, but I don't think Miami is desperate enough or
to overpay
desperate's probably not the right word. I don't think they're willing to go financially to where he wants them to go for him to go there. And so if things are equal, I think he'd probably go to the Jets if the numbers are equal, because I think the Jets might have a little bit better of a chance to win. They have probably a better quarterback. And it's just a matter of being comfortable with the role, with the, I mean, it's not just Breece Hall. There's 2 other good running backs in that room as well. I mean, one of them is going to probably have to go. Yeah, 3. Yeah. I mean, you're talking Bam Knight, Michael Carter, and Izzy.
They just drafted. Yep.
And he's obviously not going anywhere. So, I mean, if you sign Dalvin Cook, you're talking Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Izzy are locks. They're on the team. And it's just a matter of who's that 4th spot. You're not going to carry 5. And so is it Bam Knight or is it Michael Carter? Obviously, Carter's a guy they drafted down year last year in his 2nd year. Bam Knight had some flashes, but an undrafted guy was on the practice squad for the first 11 weeks of the season. Anybody around the NFL could have claimed that guy every week for the first 2/3 of the season last year. So I don't know, when you're talking value, who's valued around the league more. But I think if it comes to that and Cook does put pen to paper, the Jets are probably going to be in a good position to make a trade and get something for either one of them, because I do think teams would value Bam, and I think they would value Carter. I would bet they could get a 5 or something like that.
A late round pick for one of them, of course.
Yeah. But it's going to end up coming to that if Cook does sign, which I guess brings me to my question before we kind of skedaddle on to another topic. But gun to your head, I guess PJ, Cook signing or going to end up with the Dolphins?
No, I think he signs with the Jets.
Ends up with the Jets. What about you, What about you, Dennis?
I think he signs with the Jets.
Jets, 2 for the Jets.
I think that's
Spiga.
It's just there.
Yeah, I think all the writings on the wall, the pieces make sense, but I feel like if he doesn't sign, it's not going to really move the needle for me that much. It's not like, oh man, we missed out on this. Like if
he goes to Miami, then he goes to a division rival. Then now you got to play against him.
I got faith in my defense. Q is going to swallow him up. I don't even care.
Come to us, but if you're on another team, we're
yeah. If you're on the other team, you're Cook, boy.
Cook is Cook, fam.
That boy's toast. He's on the Dolphins.
He's gonna throw you like he did Tyreek Hill.
Did you just?
It's like he did Tyreek Hill. He's gonna do that to him.
Just before we came on here to record, I think they're doing the next installment of the top 100 players in the NFL, and Q just came in at number 40. As the 40th overall.
I already know where you're going. I saw it.
And they just played like a video interview with him about being named the thing or whatever. And they show the clip of the stiff arm to Tyreek Hill last year. And Q goes, I had to do it. That boy little.
Yeah. He's little. I can't let him tackle me.
He's like, that boy's little. He's like, that boy little. I couldn't let him tackle me. I just found that hysterical that he's just standing there calling.
It's so funny.
Tyreek Hill. I'm so happy he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, they had to get that done, and you knew they were gonna. I never really worried about it. That was always gonna happen. And then just jumping back one more thing on the Dalvin Cook thing. I know a lot of people keep saying
it's so much more different vibe with this whole regime. You look at what Mercy. I'm so happy we have Joe Douglas.
Yeah. Oh, he gets criticized for a lot of things. I think that happened earlier in the tenure. Obviously, that 2020 draft is turning out to be a disaster. I mean, that was bad. that was the Denzel Mims. Ashton Davis, Jabari Zaninga just retired yesterday. He was a 3rd round pick.
But say what you will about
from Florida.
Yeah, LaMichael Pirine.
But say what you will about him. Look at all the undrafted free agents he's brought in that have hit. Like Bryce Huff.
Look at Jason Brownlee right now.
Bam Knight.
PJ, what about that video I sent you yesterday? But I don't know. It was when they said the Jets were about to draft Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Who was the GM at that time? It was
Idzik or McCagnon?
Was it
McCagnon?
McCagnon. Yeah. And they were like everybody was telling him draft Kamara, and he opted to draft Ardarius Stewart.
That worked out well.
Yeah, that worked out well. And Only one of those gentlemen in that equation has a job at this moment, and it's Alvin Kamara.
Oh, look at Speed.
Oh, what happened? All right. Oh,
You
we
just-
good. We good.
He's back.
New lock screen there.
Yeah, I think you just switched. You just
Weird.
switched
Went
positions.
to the
But,
professional speaker.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see this Dalvin Cook thing wrapped up here sooner than later because it just every day it drags on. It's just like more of a talking point and a distraction. And whether they get him, just sign him. If not, like sign with Miami and let's be done with this. Like, I don't want to keep dragging this thing out day after
Mhm.
day.
Nah, he's probably gonna drag it out. Like they're on like the training camp and it's like 98 degrees. Like he don't want to be on that.
Yeah.
No, he don't want to.
Nah, it's
part.
nice
Well,
now.
I'm telling you, it's going to be like
Got
week
nicer out.
3 of the preseason, and then he's going to mosey in. I mean, again, he's a gamer. He doesn't need that long to ramp
No.
himself up.
Yeah. He's good.
Well, I also before we got here, I was just listening to Jacina Anderson, one of the good NFL insiders, was just on that Boy Green podcast tonight. So I was listening to her live, and she was talking about the Cook visit, and she said she, like everybody else has said, she's heard it went well. Cook is still remains super interested, and they're still talking back and forth. But she said one thing that she kind of heard rumblings of is that his shoulder like is good, like because he had the shoulder injury earlier in the like right during the season or whatever, and she heard that like his shoulder is fine, like he passed the physical, but like he's potentially not ready immediately, like right now. Like if he were to sign and get in camp, like he might not be ready to play right now.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
But like by like week 1 would probably be ready. But like at this very second, there's like it's questionable whether he'd play right now. Because he's like still on the comeback.
Pass. Give me Michael Carter. Pass.
It's kind of the way I interpret it. Again, she didn't like come right out and say it. She was kind of like trying to be cognizant of the words she was using. But the vibe I got was that like his shoulder's good, but he's like still working his way back from the shoulder and like might not be 100% ready to rock and roll full tilt right out of the gate right this second. So just something that could be also part of this equation that maybe the Jets know that, and maybe they're kind of skeptical of putting money out if the guy is an injury concern, or maybe they're going to.
If they do sign him, I'm interested to see what the number is going to be.
Yeah, me too. I mean, people keep floating numbers out there of what I've seen. People think he's going to sign for $5 million. I've heard $7 million. I've heard $9 million. I mean, running backs aren't getting paid. Like Joe Mixon just restructured to play for like what, $5.5 million or $6 million this year. Like
Saquon Barkley held out for $900,000.
Yeah,
That part, he's so
Oh, that's wild.
How does he get 11 million and then the very next day the Giants throw all this money to Andrew Thomas? That is wild. That is like, yeah, we don't want to pay you. We're just gonna pay him. And he wasn't even looking for the money, Andrew Thomas. It came to him the very next day. It's mad disrespectful.
To this
Yeah.
day.
it's just the nature of the position. You talked about it, PJ. You know how it is. It's running backs just aren't getting the bag, man. And I don't know when that changes. I don't know how that changes, if it ever changes. But
The next CBA, probably.
But what can you change? You can't.
What do you do?
You can't
You
make
gotta
it.
pay
You
raises.
can't. You can't make
There's
a
always
GM.
something. There's always something to think
Yeah.
of.
Like when they draft them, I think they hold them for 4 years, right?
You got to put more of a
Like
percentage towards that
3 years,
position on the
3 years instead of 4
signing.
years or younger for the second contract. That could be one.
Yeah, something like that, or I guess maybe let players declare earlier for the draft, like in
They
college.
get paid
So
to think of that. They'll think of something.
Yeah.
the thing is, when these guys get drafted, they're only coming into the league. They're coming to the league. They're 23 already. Like the NFL views running backs washed up at like what, 27, 28. But if you're not drafted till 23, you're already you only have a 4-year
Unbelievable.
lifespan. But if you would be able to get drafted right as a freshman, I mean, you could come in the league at 20 or 21, and then you're talking 6 or 7 years. You could potentially get a second contract. But you can't come in the league that early right now. You have to go to school and put in your time. So that was just one thought I had. Maybe eventually, like maybe they change the draft eligibility rules to make it so I don't know that you could do it just for running backs. Like if you do it,
Yeah.
you'd have to let that for every position. But
Yeah.
it kind of just changes
Not really. I mean, look at the quarterbacks. Like they get everything. So you could do something just specifically for the running backs.
Yeah, but quarterbacks, you're the most important guy on the team. I mean, there's a reason that scale keeps going up and running back keeps going. It's a pass happy league now. Everything is all like flashes, passes, touchdowns. Like no one wants to see anybody like pound the rock 30 times a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a different game nowadays.
Unless you got Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall.
That's what I mean. There's got to be a change in the running backs. Something's got to change for them, specifically for the running backs.
Yeah, and not to say like that style doesn't work anymore. Like there are probably situations that if you had the right two backs, you pound the rock 32 times a game, it could be effective and you could win. But like if you look around the league at all the successful teams that are going deep every year, they're not pounding the rock with like a stud running back. Like Kansas City went to the Super Bowl with fucking Isaiah Pacheco, a 7th round pick, and old ass Jerick McKinnon, who was on like no legs and
but
just
that's the thing.
Got him off the scrap heap for no money, and that's who they rode to the Super Bowl.
Not saying the running back is like a diminished position, not saying it's not important, but it shows that you could win with anybody. Like you could take if you put Bam Knight, an undrafted free agent, on the Chiefs with that pass happy offense where you have to respect the pass, he's gonna find seams. He's gonna get open too. You know what I mean? If you don't have to pay somebody, $12-15 million to get 4 yards, 3 yards, 7 yards. If that's your focal piece of your offense, you got a problem. Not in this league now. You know what I mean? That piece is interchangeable. That's just what they've shown it is. So it's like it's a different game. It's just evolving, and so that's why the quarterbacks that's most important, and that's why you see even in fantasy. Remember where it was like you never touched a wide receiver or anything other than a running back until round 4.
Yeah.
Now it's Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp going 1 and 2, Jamar Chase. Like you can get running backs. They're a dime a dozen. You interchangeable.
And every team has 2 or 3 of them. So I mean,
exactly.
You draft a running back in round 1, you get his handcuff in round 4. They both get the same amount of carries. It's the same. Every team uses at least 2 at this point. So, you're right. And like you said, Speak, it's a passing league. It's a quarterbacks league. It goes and that's exactly why, like what PJ just said, like the day after Barkley signs, the Giants give out the contract to the lineman. It's because that's the guy protecting the quarterback. Like that's viewed as more valuable than the guy pounding the rock. It's the guy protecting the guy that's going to sling the ball. So, and there's 3 guys in that equation. There's the quarterback, the tackle, and the running back. Which 2 of those 3 on the Giants got paid this year? The quarterback and the tackle. The running back didn't get paid,
and he was the one drafted the highest.
Yeah.
And he did the most.
yeah, exactly. It's like 45% of their offense or some shit like that. And I'm not saying it's not disrespectful or it's not shitty business, but the unfortunate truth is business and it's cutthroat, and that's just the way GMs are gonna look at I mean, we could go on this for an hour. I mean, this is more of a Jets pod, but like you just look at the Jonathan Taylor situation, like that Jonathan Taylor is the heartbeat of the Colts offense, and they're disrespecting him hardcore. And it's the owner, like we're like coming right out and saying some pretty outlandish shit. I don't know if that dude hit the pipe or he was drinking while he was giving that interview about Taylor, but that was some disrespectful shit. So I'm interested to see how that Jonathan Taylor situation. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that.
He was frozen.
Oh, what happened?
You were frozen. You're back.
You were frozen.
Oh, my bad.
I'm just curious to see how that one plays out. I mean, rumors are there's a bunch of teams clamoring for him. All the Jim Irsay's like, I'm not trading you.
Yeah.
But again, it's the position, man.
Yep.
Yeah. And Zach Moss broke his arm.
Yeah, their depth's not too
Nothing
great.
to laugh at. Sorry.
Hey, might be somebody to call if we sign Cook to send Carter or Bam Knight. They might be able to use them. But yeah, vibes are obviously immaculate at Jets camp. Rodgers is completely revitalized, re-energized the fan base. Practices are selling out, open to the public, selling out in 1 or 2 minutes when the tickets to the practices go on sale. So just like the energy.
That was shit. I didn't even get a chance to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have season tickets. I can't even go. Like you'd think I'd automatically get a ticket or something. Like I haven't been to one practice all year because I keep striking out on the tickets, which sucks. By the way, Spiga, I know you. I'm Bandoni's not here. I'm the only one with season tickets. I think at this point they send the fucking season ticket package today, and so I've been tracking it for like 3 days. Like they got an email that it went out, and so like every year it gets a little bit shittier.
Really?
Yeah. And like I
Wow.
see what like other I see like
the
what
Raiders one.
Yeah,
This
the
year it was in a
Raiders
Wells
nice.
Fargo envelope.
yeah, I see like what the Raiders give out. I've seen
Yeah.
what the Rams have. I think the Rams gave out like replica Super Bowl rings a few years ago. Like I've seen teams give out jerseys and hats. It literally came in a FedEx bag. You rip the bag open
And tickets.
it's in a white manila envelope that says Jets on it. And so you open the envelope and it's a yearbook. It's a yearbook, a magnet,
Christmas tree ornament,
a magnet schedule to put on your refrigerator, an advertisement coupon to apply for a Jets Visa card, and an advertisement for some website to buy 3 dress shirts for $99. And that's all that was in the season ticket holder package.
Well, that would be my brother had the tickets. The same thing. We never got anything good. Remember when they had that point scale where anytime like they get a first down, you got to check in with your phone,
Yeah,
and then you could
earn points and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, you looking around the league, everybody else is really giving it to their fans and really
Like I keep freezing up on you guys here for a second.
But
But-
one Jets Drive, one JD Productions. That is a production company right there. They do a good job.
one Jets Drive is pretty dope.
No,
Yeah.
one they do a great job. I'm looking
Oh,
forward to
nothing
both
to do
of
with
them.
his season tickets.
Yeah, I mean they don't, but it's just like that there's money to go around. They raised our ticket prices this year. That like even in the season ticket package, they usually give you like a fake letter, like written by Woody Johnson, thanking you for being a fan. There wasn't even a letter in that shit. It was just an envelope with a yearbook and said fucking
They
thanks.
should just put a picture of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, give me something.
What's on the yearbook? What is that?
It's like a magazine. It's like a picture of every player and a bio. It's like a magazine. It's just a yearbook that has like every player on the team with like a headshot and like a bio with all their stats for their career. It's like a $10 magazine that they sell at the stadium. And that's pretty
That's
much all
what you get for that's what you get for $6,000.
That's what you get for a couple $1,000s on season tickets. Meanwhile, the Raiders were giving out like video boxes and all this crazy music and shit coming out of it. It's just disheartening. And I'm like, I thought maybe they'd like, and it's been getting worse like every year. Like every year I've had tickets, it's gotten a little bit worse. Like the first year, I think they gave me just they gave me like a Jets hat. It said like 2018 on it, which was like the year I got the tickets. But then like 2020, there was no season, but they still sent a package, and it was literally just a COVID mask. They sent a Jets COVID mask, and it wasn't even like a Jets COVID mask. It was like a Jets COVID mask, and it had like the Pepsi logo on the side. Like it was like a sponsored by Pepsi.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they get worse every year, but I thought maybe them signing Rodgers and like the excitement around the team that they would have like maybe gone a little bit more above and beyond to like thank the fans for staying loyal, but no, man, they're like, we're not even going to send a letter from Woody Johnson this year. But yeah,
We know you're coming.
Yeah, but besides that, the vibes are good around training camp. Obviously, there's a lot of position battles going on, and there's been a few nicks and stuff like that where we kind of got to monitor. Obviously, Garrett Wilson already turned an ankle. Want to be careful with that moving forward, although it looks like he's going to be fine. I think Salah said today he's actually going to practice right after the Hall of Fame game. He's not going to none of the starters are going to play there, but
no one plays that game anyway.
It sounds like Garrett Wilson should start practicing again this weekend. But
who's looked really good in camp?
Who's that?
He's going to probably play. What's his name? Brownlee. Jason Brownlee.
Yeah. Brownlee looks great.
Handed catch.
He had a good catch today, but he's been looking good even before that catch.
Yeah, Brownlee looks good.
He's solid.
I think he's a big reason why they decided to move off of Mims.
College.
Yeah, he went to a small school and from
drafted though.
Yeah, He went undrafted, which I think a lot of people were surprised about. From everything I've read, it sounded like a lot of people thought he'd go in like the 6th or the 7th, but the Jets gave him a lot of money, like as an undrafted. Jets gave him like $2 million as an undrafted guy. Where like most undrafted guys get like, I don't know, 600K, 800K. Like that's how they got him, because they gave him a lot of money. But he had like absurd stats at his college, but it was a small school, obviously not heavily recruited. And from what I read, like he kind of blew up his first 2 years there, and then big like D1 schools came to offer him up, and he turned them down. He's like, "You guys didn't want me before. I'm not switching out now." Like, and so he stayed loyal. He stayed loyal to his school and played out his career there. And obviously, I mean, he didn't get drafted, but I mean, he's in a good spot here with the Jets to. I mean, you look at the depth chart, you're going to have obviously
Take Corey Davis' spot.
I mean, maybe eventually.
I mean, he's doing good though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
maybe
he's doing good too.
maybe eventually though. I mean, he's signed to no money for a period of time. Corey Davis is a free agent after this year, so you put the guy on the roster, see how he does in limited action. I mean, in a year from now, maybe you could move off of Corey Davis and you don't have to pay him.
I could see Corey Davis having a role in this year though.
Oh, he's gonna have a big role this year. I think he's gonna have a much bigger role than like nobody's talking about him because of like what a great year Garrett Wilson had, and they brought Lazard in, and I know a lot of people talking about Hardman, the speed that guy has on like gadget plays and stuff like that, but nobody's really talking about Corey Davis. But like he went into last year as the number 1 receiver, and is he a number 1 receiver? No, I'm not painting him as that, but when you're telling me he's the number 3. And you got one of the better wide receivers in the league at this point in Garrett Wilson on one side of the field, he's going to command a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of targets to go Corey Davis's way, and I could see him getting open a lot. I really could. That's going to be a big.
No, you're right.
That's going to be a big role, and of course they have Cobb, who's on the roster. I think that's more of just a veteran guy. I don't know that he's going to play all that much.
Yeah, like 6 tight ends.
Yeah, and then obviously you have Brownlee next on the depth chart. They moved off of Mims. They got him out of there. They're not taking any of the reps away from Brownlee, and so that next spot is Brownlee. So I mean, if you're really not accounting for Cobb after you go Wilson, Lazard, Davis, Hardman, you're talking about Brownlee for that 5 spot.
Yeah.
But they're going to carry 6, so they're all going to be there. And then, like you said, the tight ends are also interesting because Ruckert's having a really good camp. But so is Uzama, it looks like, and so is Conklin. So that's going to be an interesting battle. I think Conklin's obviously going to get the starting nod. He's going to get the majority of the time, but I feel like they just have so many different guys that
going to be good.
They just have so many different guys that they could put in different situations and deploy them in different ways that when you have the creativity of Aaron Rodgers, you just you don't know who to account for. You can't account for everybody on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they have all these guys, so like the big question mark now is to keep him healthy and keep him upright. So offensive line is the one that's lacking right now.
Yeah.
Hearing that Mekhi Becton's not looking too good. Dwayne Brown's not practicing. Those are your 2 tackles right there. It sucks that we didn't get Broderick Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have worked out well if they would have ended up with Jones in the draft.
I still feel like they make a move when camp cuts come about. They're going to make another move, especially at tackle. I mean, Will McDonald apparently has been lighting up in training camp too. So, I mean, I think that's going to be another underrated pick, but they neglected that outside of the offensive line a little too much, and you're going to need bodies at some point. You can't rely on Becton. He's hurt this day. Does it feel good that day? He's getting beat this day. Again, Carl Lawson's beat you up, and he was doing that for a while. He's good too, but it comes time where it's all right, well.
Yeah, it was weird because they had Morgan Moses and JD brought him in, and then JD let him go. It was weird that they let him go because he went to the Ravens and he went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
When he went to the Ravens.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of, I don't know. Becton is still Jody's guy. That was his first draft pick, and so
he's the last one from that draft too. If he doesn't pan out.
But the bottom line is I think beyond JD just not being able to move on from his first pick, he's relying on that pick. He needs Becton to be good.
Everybody needs Becton to do good.
And I mean, PJ's
all
right.
Of New York and New Jersey needs Becton. and a little bit of Florida.
Makai, we're relying on you, dog. But yeah, he didn't start camp off good. But from everything I've read, the last 2 days, he's had 2 back-to-back really good days. He's been getting more first-team reps. And then I think he actually addressed the media today for the first time, and he took the podium and took questions. And he admitted the surgery that he got on his knee in 21. He said, "quote I got the wrong surgery." Like there were, I guess there were 2 different surgeries he could have gotten, and he chose the one that would get him back on the field faster. And it obviously didn't work. And he said he regrets getting that one because he should have gotten the other one that would have taken him longer to come back. But he says that's partly why he had the injury last year, was that his knee wasn't full strength. But he said right now his knee is full strength. He feels as good as he's felt since he came into the NFL. He's down to 350 pounds exactly. He's shed over 50 pounds. So, I mean, he looks good. He looks great. He looks like a different guy. It's still a lot of fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big dude. He's still a house. And I read today he actually pancaked Carl Lawson
Nice.
coming around the edge. So, like, you're seeing signs of improvement. And I think we have to, like, understand that we're only 8 days or whatever, 7 days into training camp. And this guy hasn't played in he hasn't played in almost 2 full years. So, like, you can't expect the guy to step on the field and he's going to be a brick wall right away. Like, there's an acclimation period. There's the guy's on a pitch count to start camp. He's only playing, I think on Thursday he's going to see work for sure, but I think he's on a 20 to 25 snap count, which is about right for the first preseason game. But there's not going to be a lot of guys playing in that game on Thursday night in Canton, but Becton's going to be one of them. He's probably one of the main guys you're going to want to pay attention to.
Zach Wilson, baby.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how he looks with the bright lights. If he comes out and throws the first draft as a pick,
you're gonna be scared the whole first quarter.
No, but that's another thing though. They said he looked good too in camp. He's looking more relaxed. Like he said, like I think the Rodgers effect where you watch every day there's a new clip coming out. He does something, looks over at Rodgers, Roger brings him over, and you see him talking and putting things together for him. I think of all the players and of all the people that Aaron Rodgers is going to benefit, it's got to be him. It's got to be him.
Of
course, yeah.
Watch him come back in 2-3 years and be a fucking stallion.
I mean, of course he looks more relaxed. He doesn't have anything to fucking worry about. He's not the quarterback. There's no pressure. I mean, he's getting paid. He's getting paid to show up, take practice reps, go home, bang his girlfriend, and come back and do it again.
But it was 22 years old. But no, honestly, I feel like that's kind of like what quarterbacks need. Unless you are Patrick Mahomes, unless you are Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow, like you need to sit. This game goes by way too fast. There's too much of a gap.
Patrick Mahomes sat.
But true, yeah, he did. But all world stepped in and crushed it. Like that doesn't happen to everybody. But for some reason we force it. Like, oh, it's got to happen.
Yeah.
Like why?
Because of the contract. They're on the rookie deal. They don't make any money.
For 5 years though, sit for 2, and now you get 3 years to evaluate to see what he is. Like, look what you did for Darnold. You had granted he stung, but you had no idea what he was. It was time to pay the piper, and you had to make a decision. But if a guy sits for 2 years, and then you're 3 years, 1 year is a mulligan, then the next 2 were you've been in this offense for 3 years, 4 years. You should know what you're doing. But it's a confidence thing. That shit's hard. It's the hardest job in the world.
Of course. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, I think it would benefit every quarterback in the NFL to come right out of college and sit for a year.
I know,
or two.
that's what I'm saying. Like the expectation's wild, and it's like.
But the way the salary cap is structured, it not to say it can't be done, but it's structured in a way that if a team doesn't have to pay the quarterback, they could conceivably pay all the other important positions on the roster, get a stud wide receiver, a stud tackle, a stud linebacker. You could spread that money out so you have a good team. But if you have the good team and don't have a quarterback, what difference does it make? So if you have all the money allocated outside of the quarterback and you're not paying the kid who is the quarterback and he's not good, it doesn't do you any good to have the good team around you. You know what I'm saying? So if the kid's not good right away, it kind of defeats the purpose of having the quarterback on the rookie contract, because once the 5th year passes, he's making money and you can't afford all those other pieces to put around him. And that's why when teams draft a quarterback in the first round, they throw them in right away because they want to take advantage of the contract that they're on. Even if they're and some people like to go trial by fire and just throw him in there. And this is his learning, where other people like to put the guy on the bench for a year or two. I mean, Rodgers did it. I mean, he did it.
Rodgers did it. Brady did it. Like you said, Mahomes did. I mean, not saying it's like it's no silver bullet, but I feel like that's again coming
Phillip
back
Rivers
to being a good GM,
Rivers behind Breeze,
being able to look at a quarterback or look at your team and see like, ooh, like Alex Smith, he's not going to be our future forever. It's almost like pull the trigger on a guy you like a year early rather than a year later, so you have that smaller gap to like let him learn, let him evaluate, see what happens. You're still building a team around him, and then you could step in and hopefully, take your team to the promised land. I don't know. It's tough to do. It's fucking hard. So I'm glad I don't have that fucking job.
That's why I think Jordan Love will be all right this year too.
Yeah. He went down the same path as Rodgers did. And it's also too like
everything that you just said. Yeah, he sucks.
I just don't like it. No, I hope he does though. But
and then when
not against us,
when you put the Jets in that position, like where they took Wilson, like they took the kid 2 overall. Like you're gonna waste the second pick in the draft and not play him. Like you could have taken.
The Niners aren't playing Trey Lance.
I mean.
He's bad.
I think about that every day, how much people shit on the Jets for the Wilson pick, and nobody talks about the Lance pick. And I'm like, the Lance pick is worse.
They traded up to get him.
They traded 2 1s and their own one. So conceivably, they traded 3 1s to move up to that spot to take Lance, and they're going with an undrafted guy. Or no, Mr. Irrelevant. They're going with the last pick in the draft.
Or Sam Darnold.
And that did not work out for San Francisco. And I wish people would give them. I wish they would get more flack for it, because the Jets sure get a lot of flack for Zach Wilson, and I can't really defend a lot of Zach Wilson at this point. But
they're not getting it because they're winning still.
Right, exactly. If they were a 6-9 or 6-11 at this point, if you're a 6-11 team,
shitty team.
Yeah,
only the Niners can do that and mess that up and then still be good.
Yeah, with the last pick in the draft, like you can't make you have a kid who you traded up to 3 overall, invested all those picks in, doesn't pan out, but you're still good because the last pick in the draft turned out to be good. Like
somebody else hit on Geno.
Yeah.
Well, again,
somebody else gonna hit on Darnold too.
Stat for a little bit. You watch. Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah,
go Jets.
Yeah, so a lot of like I said, a lot of things to watch in the Hall of Fame game. I'm going to be looking at Becton. I'm going to be looking at Brownlee. Interested to see what he looks like.
I'm going to be looking at free safety. I'm going to be looking at outside linebacker.
They said Tony Adams looks good.
Adams, he's been besides Brownlee, he's been like the talk of camp.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to see it when the pads come on. You're playing, somebody else. When you're also going against another unrestricted free agent or undrafted free agent receiver, you're going to look good. But, let's say Elijah Moore plays. Let's say, somebody else. You got a stud receiver you got to cover. See what happens. But, going after Njoku. Curious to see how that plays out. But I don't know. I'm curious to that. And then not signing Quan and putting all your eggs in the Sherwood basket. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
They have money too.
But I also read that they're classifying Jermaine Johnson as outside linebacker now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that was more for him to. From what I read, he's classified as a linebacker because he changed his number to 11.
Oh, he wouldn't be able to.
And he couldn't wear 11 unless he declared as a linebacker.
No,
really?
Judon wears 9.
I don't know. I read that. Well, Judon's I think technically listed as a linebacker though.
I feel like you can wear any number. I thought. Besides. Oh no, maybe linemen are different.
I think linemen are still different.
I don't know why it's different for them, but
offensive linemen is different for sure.
Yeah,
too fat to wear single digits.
Yeah, but I read if he wanted to switch to 11, he had to declare as a linebacker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I read that like the day that he switched. Although, I mean, I think he could go out there and do it if they wanted him to.
17 minutes after Denzel Mims was traded.
Yeah, exactly.
He had that shit teed up.
Yeah, That shit still had pit stains from Denzel Mims in it, and he was already putting number 11.
Bro, he had that tweet in his draft the moment he got there. He's like, I can't wait.
Yeah, man.
Which also brings me talk about jersey
This guy will be
changes.
gone soon.
Going different, like, is it weird why Garrett Wilson said he's going to change his number next year and not this year?
Said that?
I have a,
Yeah,
I
he
have
said
a
he said
feeling-
he's going to switch to number 5 next year.
I have a feeling Jets are getting new jerseys or another logo next year.
Oh,
Something else is
they're
gonna happen.
definitely
Like-
getting new jerseys next year.
That's what I'm
100%.
saying. Because that's the loophole. Because if Garrett Wilson wanted to change it now, he'd have to buy the inventory of 17, and then he's able to change. But I think once you're getting new jerseys, do everything, you could do whatever you want. It's a clean slate.
No,
So
just
I-
jerseys, man. What the hell?
I just give me the old logo. Give me the old retro Jets,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, like the throwbacks that they just came out with. Like make that and the Kelly Green version like their main jersey. With that, the Jet logo on the side of the helmet, like they're gonna wear for those couple games. Like
Even the
Mhm.
jerseys, the retro, the Sack Exchange jerseys are so clean. Even though
Yeah.
it's just white in a green strip, it just looks so good.
yeah,
I gotta see him on the field. I'm 50-50 in the pictures.
I don't know, man. I think
Probably in the field, I probably like him, but I'm like,
white
sometimes
face
I like him,
masks with the
sometimes I don't.
green. Mm.
well, you're gonna see them under the lights. They're gonna be on national TV game 1. So,
I'll be there.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
right. PJ,
I'll come
balls
back for that.
balls on you to get there, PJ.
Flying in.
I will be there for the Giants game.
Nah, I'll be there for that too.
Yeah, I'll probably be there to tailgate. I don't know that I'll go into the game, but I'll probably go to tailgate.
And I think I'm coming back again for the Patriots game. Was it the 24th?
It's the second game, yeah.
Yeah, the second home game. I'm gonna be back for that one too. I think I might
Oh,
take little Gerard to that one.
Oh shit! 2 games for Spiga earlier in the year. I like it.
Right. Before it gets cold, man. I'm in Florida. I can't do that cold shit.
Yeah,
Hell no.
I don't know what happened, man. Jersey boys go to Florida and they
We get
They-
soft. Okay.
they get soft, man.
Become
Jer-
surfers.
Say Jersey strong. That shit ain't true. You need your beach. You need your warm weather.
Bro, I'm telling you,
Palm trees.
You leave New Jersey, then you come after a little while. You come back and you see how gray that shit really looks. You're like,
Yeah,
get
you
me out of here.
know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I know.
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, this
You
shit is
guys never been to Double Dimes with Cardos. That's why.
double dime tavern every Friday night, baby.
I know there's no white
Huh.
diamond in Southwest Florida. I'll tell you that. No
I'm
burger
getting those
Express.
burgers.
Damn, son.
You ain't got a
Right.
Wawa.
But before we wrap, are you guys? Do you guys all have HBO? Like you are going to be tuning in to Hard Knocks?
Yup.
What do you what player are you all most looking forward to seeing on?
Michael Clemens. Michael.
Yeah,
fucking
that-
Damn, you beat me to it.
Yeah, that's mine too. Michael Clemens. I'm looking forward to Clemens. I'm looking forward to Ron Middleton, the coach. I heard he's a wild man.
Honestly, Rodgers too. Like, Rodgers is a cool dude.
Yep, I want
I'm
to see
curious-
Rodgers.
I've never seen Rodgers talk so much.
And it's like fascinating because how
'Cause he-
smart
yeah.
he is.
He's like a different guy since he came to the Jets. Like everybody's like, oh, he doesn't want anything to do with anybody. He doesn't like young players. He doesn't like to teach. He doesn't like to show up. And I mean, he's admitted that was the case in the past, and it just
Completely changed. He took a $35 million pay cut.
it
Like,
just
that's fine.
He looks
fucking
rejuvenated. He just
It's-
looks like
he looks healthy.
he's like just having fun.
Yeah.
He looked
He's
like
having fun.
sickly and old and like just checked out, and he looks good and short haircut and
Look like dollar store Aaron Rodgers over there.
yeah, he
Now
just
he looks like Aaron Rodgers.
but like can you even comprehend at this point? Like we've all been through it. We've all been friends for a long time talking Jets. Like we go back through it all. But like can you even like comprehend in your mind like Aaron Rodgers wanted to come to the Jets, like step one, like one of the best quarterbacks of all time said,
Hold on,
I
yeah.
want to come here, came here, and then he completely like shut down every narrative that's followed him for the last 10 years. Like bad dude, bad teammate, all about himself. He's selfish. He's not going to show up to camp. He's not going to teach the young players. He's going to be impatient with them. He's not going to spend the time with them. He's going to be to himself. And he gets here. He's the complete opposite of that. He showed up for for optional OTAs. He was there every day. He's in New York City all offseason, where he could have been in California, stays in the city, and then he restructures his contract and takes $35 million less than he could have.
Crazy.
But you know what that's for, right?
And he makes a multi-year
Dalvin
commitment.
Cook and friends.
Like
No.
he told the Packers he was 90%
Mhm.
retired. Now he's committing to like 2 or 3 years with the Jets, having been
He
here
said
for
a
like
few
a month.
today. A few
He
is
said
more
a
than
few years.
2.
Mark
Yeah.
my words, whether it's this year, whether it's middle of this year, or it's next season, Devontae Adams will be a Jet.
Ante.
Devontae Adams will be a Jet. I guarantee. I'm calling it right now.
It
Oh,
feels
that's
like
what he
that's
said.
gonna. It feels like that's gonna happen at some point. Whenever it always works out that way with the Raiders. Just any big player that they get doesn't last there long. Randy Moss goes there. Antonio Brown goes there. Antonio Brown didn't even play a game there. He didn't
No.
even make it through training camp there.
And
But
then
like
watch
Randy
watch-
Moss spent what, a season there, and then goes to the Patriots and he's God again. Like just
Remember
big.
when the Jets traded for Doug Jolly from the Raiders?
Oh yeah,
Gave him a
Can't-
first-round pick.
can't forget that.
Yeah, but now Joe Douglas is going to fleece them. He's going to give him like a 7th-round pick for Devontae Adams.
The
I'll
Jets.
never forget that day.
The
I was
Jet,
like, what
the
are they doing?
Jets gave the Raiders a first-round pick for Doug Jolly, so they didn't have a 1. And then with the first pick that they did have in the draft, they took a kicker.
He took a kick.
Was
Mike
that
Nugent.
They
Nugent,
took
right?
Mike
Yeah.
Nugent, and then with the next
Oh.
pick, they took a kick returner, Justin Miller.
Miller.
Well, I like Justin
Yeah.
Miller though, but
I was watching that at PJ's house.
Yeah,
I
I
remember
mean,
that.
he was a good returner, but like you don't take that with like a day 2 pick.
Who was
Like
the corner that they took that they thought was going to be Revis?
D Milner.
Oh my God.
I thought he was going to be good.
I mean,
too.
he was amazing in college.
He
Ugh.
couldn't
He
cover
had it-
He
anything.
didn't have to do anything.
Couldn't
I think-
cover anything.
I think he was hurt a lot. Like I actually just read about him recently, and like I looked back, like he had a good rookie year. Like he wasn't bad, but he wasn't Revis. But I don't think he ever played after his first or second. He only played like 1 or 2
He
years.
had a 5-game stretch at the end of his rookie year where he
Yeah.
held Josh Gordon to 2 catches, like a whole bunch of people. Like he actually played really well, and then he must have got hurt in the offseason or hurt his shoulder because then he was just god awful.
He was cooked after he got hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Remember Calvin Pryor? Ugh.
yeah, I have that jersey.
Oh,
The Louisville
Louisville
Slugger.
Jesus Christ.
he was slow.
Yeah, that just goes to show you don't buy the first round picks jersey until they play for a couple years.
Unless it's Sauce, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you motherfuckers didn't buy the Sauce jersey until
I didn't buy I don't even-
until he played a couple games and you saw he was with it.
Bro, check the receipts. Before the draft, Peach is like, we're getting Sauce. I'm like, I don't fucking want him. Get him off my team. Give me Kayvon Thibodeau. And now I'm like, that's the jersey I'm gonna get when I come back to MetLife.
Yeah, I mean Thibodeau's
you
good.
were like,
Thibodeau's
there's
good
no-
too, but
You're like, there's no Revis in this draft. I was like, yes, there is. His name is Sauce.
But I did say take Garrett Wilson at 4. That's
yeah,
how much I believe in him. I was
You
like,
did.
that motherfucker's gonna be good.
you did say take him at 4. I remember that.
Don't even take a chance with and have the Falcons fuck that up. Take him at 4.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
Yeah,
if they
take
could go back and
the-
have a redo, I think they would take
Garrett Wilson would go
Wilson
top
over.
5.
Yeah, I mean he wouldn't make it to the Falcons at 8 if they could redo it.
He
I
might
mean,
not make it to us at 4.
Drake London.
Yeah, I mean who went 1 and 2 in that draft? I don't even remember. Oh, that was the guy to the Jaguars, right?
That was Walker. Walker
Trevor
went
Lawrence.
Trayvon
Oh
Walker.
no,
Walker went
yeah,
1.
Walker. That's right.
Walker,
Hutchinson
Hutchinson.
Hayden
2.
Hutchinson.
Stingley went 3.
Stingley
That was
went
another
3.
one.
Oh God, you
Was
took
so happy when they
you
took
took
Stingley.
Stingley over Sauce.
Stingley over Sauce.
Yeah, but can you imagine right now, devil's advocate? Can you imagine? Let's say they took Garrett Wilson at 2. Can you imagine Garrett Wilson and Amon St. Brown and that offense?
Oh,
Jeez. With Hawkinson.
Lions to the moon. If they had Garrett Wilson, Lions to the moon. Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, I am leaving Thursday. I am going out to Canton for the Hall of Fame game. So if you see me in Canton, say what's up. I'll be there with the Jets group chat pod koozies, giving that shit out to everybody that comes up and says hi. So if you see me, I think Spiga potentially will be there, but that's iffy at this point.
We're iffy. 2 kid problems. We'll see.
iffy.
I'm all
Isn't
paid
that-
up, and I'm all paid up and ready to rock. It's just some things that
You need like a
arose.
plane ticket like yesterday.
I have all of that already.
Oh,
He has all the tickets. He has the airfare. He has the hotel. He just doesn't know if he could go. Like
I'm not allowed to leave yet.
he has a lady who has his children, and there are things to be ironed out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some last
So-
minute things have arose where I might need to play dad.
Would you tell her on Monday, like, "Hey, I'm going to Ohio"?
No.
I was gonna say no one's speaking. He told her on like Tuesday, like, "Hey, I'm flying to Ohio for 3 days over the
Hey,
weekend."
next day.
Hope you're okay with it. See you later.
Yeah.
No, we'll talk about that last minute.
Well, yeah. If you see me in Ohio, say what's up. If you see Spiga there by chance, say what's up. I'm heading out
Yep.
there Thursday. Should be a good time. I think there's a bunch of Jet fan meetups planned.
I'll be in Ocean City. If you see me, say what's up.
PJ will be on the beaches in Florida. See him, say what's up. But yeah, I think there's a bunch of Jet fan meets up planned, and I think that Boy Green and Matt O'Leary and Jake
Gotham Crew is
Assman.
already there.
Oh, they went already?
I'm pretty sure Gotham City Crew is like already there.
Yeah, they're doing that whole trip with the getaway. Like they have the whole travel package thing set up, but should be a good time. Celebrate the inauguration of Revis and Klecko. Obviously a big day or a big weekend, obviously in Ohio for Jet fans to have the Hall of Fame game, and no starters are going to play in the game, so it's not a huge deal, but it's just cool. They'll be on national TV. Be the first time you see Rodgers. He's not going to play. I don't even know if he'll dress, but be the first time you'll see him in Jets gear on a sideline and all that. So
You'll see a bunch of Strebler though.
yeah, bunch of Strevler, a bunch of Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson. So
Do you play Will McDonald or no?
I would.
he'll probably play some. He said no starters, but Will McDonald I don't think is a starter at this point. So I
Him
think
a tiny bit.
yeah, I think you'll see
He was
him.
not-
I'm curious to see how fast he looks because they said he's been letting up too.
Yeah, they say he looks good.
He's the fastest kid alive.
Fast out loud.
I watched that the other day. I was pissing my pants. It's so funny. It never gets old.
No.
But all right, that is going to wrap it for us. Thank you for hopping on and listening in. Spiga, PJ, Dennis, keep it real. Have a good week. And we'll be back sometime next week. Recap that.
Baby.
I guess next week we'll recap the first game, and then we're going to have to talk about the first episode of Hard Knocks and what went down on Hard Knocks. So tune in for that. I think One Jets Drive drops next Monday. Next day, Hard Knocks drops on Tuesday. So plenty of Jets content. And then perhaps we'll record next Wednesday. So three exhilarating nights of Jets content for you guys. So all right, thank you for tuning in. Jet up.
Shut up, baby.